Welcome back to another edition of Enter the Lab. I'm an excited fan just as much as you are. We are on the brink of another season. I just want to say welcome back to the NFL. We've been here every step of the way during the offseason, draft, free agency, OTAs, mini camps, beginning of camp, hard knocks, top 100, and here we are, the day of preseason games, week 1. Welcome back, NFL. You've been gone too long, and I can't wait to see how the season unfolds.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Enter the Lab. It is preseason week. First thing we're going to be talking about is the running back position in free agency. Is that a dying position to look at right now? We also talk about EB against the modern NFL. Is his practice going to be very difficult for these players to look? We're going to discuss the nation's capital in D.C. Also, we're going to talk about which player is under the most pressure coming this season. We also get an update for the preseason teams of the Lions, Atlanta Falcons, and the Commanders. Buckle up, get your lab coat. It's time to Enter the Lab.
What's up, everybody? This is Hog Farmer Joe from Hog Farmer Charitable Foundation. Before you listen to Enter the Lab podcast today, presented by Red Zone in the Lab, I'm asking you to help us on our mission by helping children and families affected by pediatric cancer by making a small donation at www.hogfarmercharity.org. Thank you. And as always, hail to the Commanders.
And welcome back to Enter the Lab podcast. We got the lovely Lady E. We got my boy C. Henry. Hey, it is preseason week 1 tonight. I am so excited. Like, we got who playing tonight? We got the Texans playing the Patriots, and we got Seattle playing
the Vikings.
The Vikings. We got Seattle playing the Vikings. So this is a big monumental night for the NFL. We see some of these teams getting ready. What are y'all thought process so far in preseason?
Okay, well, we gonna start it off with me. How y'all boys doing? First of all, how my friends, how my babies, how y'all doing? Y'all good?
Very well, Miss E. Very well, Miss E. We see you out here in these streets too. We see you.
Yes. I just had to do one today and doing one today. I mean, yesterday doing. Look, I'm all over the place. But anyway, preseason. I am excited. I can't wait to see what my team is going to do. It's been a lot of buzz about them Dirty Birds, baby. So I'm so ready to see it. But I also want to see what a lot of these teams are looking like this season. It's been a lot of talk over the offseason. We didn't have some good ups and downs and shakeups. And I'm just ready to see what these teams got ready to put on this field this year, because I think this is going to be a very, very, very exciting season. We're going to have some teams that we didn't think that was going to show up. So yes, I'm ready.
Man, Lady E, I really share your enthusiasm for this season. Extremely excited. I mean, it's nothing like football, bottom line for me, man. I get totally invested, whether it's college, whether it's my Lions, just trying to see how the season unfolds. Is somebody going to challenge Kansas City in the AFC? Who's going to come out of the NFC? Because it seems like it's kind of wide open. Can my Lions, find their way somewhere in the mix? I'm a big fantasy football player, so I'm about ready to draft and put together some championship teams in that aspect. So I'm just excited. I'm just hoping that I can see a couple of things, glean a little bit of knowledge from these games, and hopefully everybody comes out of these games unscathed and healthy for the season. Less than 30 days away, baby. We ready to go to KC, baby.
Hey, I'm ready.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. But let's go ahead and get started with the program. Some of the biggest topics that has happened so far, and one of them has been the decline of the running back market in the National Football League. We've seen a couple of talented running backs that have been, challenging their teams for getting new deals and stuff. A lot of well-known names such as Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt. He's been a little bit bouncing back and forth with some teams discussing contracts. But overall, the market has seemingly declined, and the main person that has been of interest has been Saquon since he was holding out, and now he decided to take that one-year deal with the New York Giants while they paid Daniel Jones the bona fide franchise tag, I must say. So my thoughts about the running back market is like I have really had discussed this for the past couple of years, how devalued that position has been. It's almost like as if unless you're a guy that's like a Alvin Kamara or Christian McCaffrey, you're going to survive in this league. If you don't have that type of skill set to consistently be on the field for all 3 downs, it's really going to be hard for a running back. Now we see Ezekiel Elliott, his prime years look like it's kind of behind him with all the wear and tear on his body. So I'm going to see Henry. What do you think about the running back market, and is the running back position, is it going to die soon? Because this is not looking good for a lot of these guys.
To your last question, is it going to die? I don't know. It's not going to die. I am a firm believer that everything that happens is cyclical. We've seen other positions kind of go through a similar devaluation, if you will. Linebacker for a minute, they weren't getting paid. Interior offensive linemen weren't getting paid like that. It took a while for defensive interior linemen to get paid. And I just think this is a situation that it's just, a cyclical situation. Now it's the running back. When you look at the NFL, it's kind of become a passing league. So we see a lot of de-emphasis on the run game. But with that being said, it's not that we don't need running backs. It's just that there are so many running backs that we can get in different facets available. It's kind of a supply and demand situation. You can go into a draft and get you a solid running back, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. We look at guys like Damian Pierce in Houston, who was a 4th round pick. Kenneth Walker in Seattle, who was a 2nd round pick. Even Jonathan Taylor was a 2nd round pick. So you don't have to spend heavily on that position either in draft, or we're seeing quality free agents like Dalvin Cook currently on the market right now, looking to try to get $6 or $7 million a year. So you can go the conservative, cheap route, if you will, a couple of different ways. The biggest issue with the running backs, and I hear and DT, to your point, I do think 3-down running backs definitely are the new wave, if you will. But really, it's really about durability and production. Even with the CMC, he's had injury issues. When you look at Saquon, he's had injury issues. That last wave of running backs who got those big deals, Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, we can go back as far as David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell. None of those guys finished those contracts on a high note. So what that did was kind of set a precedent for owners to say, hey, we don't have to pay you after your first contract. We don't have to pay you an exorbitant 4 or 5 year contract with all this guaranteed money, because right now we don't have a real big sample size for folks who are going to end those contracts in good shape. One guy that we can say is Derrick Henry. He's been productive. He's been durable. He's not the pass catcher that everyone talks about, but he's a durable, productive back. But for every one of him, we've got 10 other guys who flamed out during that second deal. So they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And to my point, I don't know if you guys heard my show earlier last week, but Saquon did not do the running back position any favors this season. So he didn't take the money that was offered to him. He thought he had a higher opinion of himself. They probably should have did that Zoom call about 2 or 3 months earlier so he can kind of figure out what his true market value was and what was really being offered to these other guys. And I think soon after that Zoom call, you saw the epiphany that he came to. He went right in there and said, I'll take that extra $900,000 because it sounds like y'all ain't giving nobody nothing. So he took the money, but he really would have helped the running back position out if he took the $14 million they offered him a couple months back. That would have, upped the overall amount for running backs and up the franchise tag tender for running backs who are going to be coming out next year, like Jonathan Taylor and things of that sort. But to Lady E, I'm sorry, Lady E, but I'm fired up, baby. I'm fired up, baby.
No,
Ladies
you're
and
good. I'm honestly going to say this. Being a professional that works in human resources, this is what we talk about with advocacy. They have their collective bargaining agreement. From what I've heard, a lot of players don't even show up to vote. So mainly when you think about it, this is mainly the owners that are mainly making these decisions. So when we think about it, if you really want this money, especially for a position, again, we are turning into a passing league because, Kareem Hunt just went down there to New Orleans. I was talking to somebody that's a Saints fan. And I said, well, how are you going to use him? Are you going to use him like as an extra running back. Don't y'all got a third running back on the list? They were like, no, he's going to be used more in the passing game. So they're looking for those combo backs, but they want those combo backs to be more so in the passing game. So Kareem Hunt didn't leave with a deal because he heard that, hey, the Colts are paying me more money. But that's the issue. They're paying you more money, but is it for one thing or is it because you're all around, every down back? So that's where we're pretty much having that issue. I just feel like right now the running back market is not going to be obsolete because every team is going to need a running back or whatever. This is not like the fullback position, even though Atlanta still uses a fullback, but it's not like the fullback position. I just feel like they need to advocate for themselves a little bit more, just like how the wide receivers will advocate. I mean, I don't know if you remember C. Henry with Jimmy Graham. Remember when they were trying to tag Jimmy Graham as that tight end, but he was like, I play more wide receiver than anything. That's another thing. What can we do to try to help alleviate this, especially if we know for a fact we're going to be using running backs as wide receivers? I'm looking at you, Austin Eckler. Yes, with the most TD, most receiving yards and touchdown yards rather than rushing yards. So we got to, see exactly, what the situation is and how can we, fix that. But I agree to your whole entire point. He should have never did that. That's why I said that Zoom call meeting wasn't a kumbaya meeting. That was, hey, what y'all getting paid? Oh, y'all ain't getting paid nothing? Cool. Let me go over here and go get paid.
Well, I think that they definitely may have had some conversations. They may have went in there with some ideas. But at the end of the day, there are a number of people in this league, just not premier players, but a number of people in this league who go into their last year of their deal and they have to play it out. They either on their own 1 year deals or this is the last year of their deal. There is nothing that guarantees you an extension. No matter how well you've played, there's nothing that guarantees you an extension. So we can't expect that. This is your 4th year of your deal. I know you want to be protected, but people do it every day. Go out there and play on on that last year. So again, I would suggest them basically preparing themselves. If you want to skip camp, fine. If you want to keep yourself kind of fresh, definitely do that. But be ready to come in and play at a high level because that's the only way you're going to earn that money. You're going to have to play at a high level and show that you're durable and that you're productive. And like you said, DT, you can be productive in the run game as well as the passing game. But that durability is the key. And I just want to point out one thing. This running back position, we've heard a couple of folks say that maybe they should be allowed to go to free agency earlier. They should be allowed to or not allowed to, teams should not be allowed to give them that 5th-year option of their first-round pick. I think all those things sound great in theory, but I do not think, and I may be wrong, and the players' associations can definitely prove me wrong if they vote this thing the right way. But I do not think that the group of players are going to allow vote for one position to be treated specially or differently than the rest of those positions. I just find it hard. Maybe, I don't believe in humanity enough. But I just find it hard for them to say, okay, we're going to let the running backs go to free agency after 4 years, but we're going to still be able to be tagged. Given that 5th-year option, or we're not going to allow them to be tagged, but we can still be tagged. I just don't think that in this world today that happens. So again, you're going to have to ball out. A guy like Derrick Henry, who got the bag before, he's up for the bag again. Very interesting to see how Tennessee is going to deal with him because he's a little bit older back. So do they feel like he's about to fall off the cliff, or do they feel he's going to fall off the cliff and don't pay him, or do they look at him as possibly a short-term deal? We're going to play this year by year. The number of hits that running backs take versus other positions is just crazy. 1 year for a bell cow back is like 2 years for a great linebacker, 3 years for a safety or a DB. So that's why we're seeing their careers basically be shortened into a 5 and 6 year stint. And that's basically your rookie contract, maybe a year or two after that.
And teams don't want to pay. Maybe. And because once you got to think about it, these boys are coming in 2021. By the time that 5th year comes in, it's 26. At that point in time, what does the outlook look like moving into 27 to 30? This ain't Frank Gore that we're talking about, okay? This ain't Frank Gore. So they're looking at all of that. And I think too, what hurts these running backs, these injuries. They're a little bit more prone to injuries than a lot of the other positions over there because of how much that they're being used. So I think that also plays a part when they're thinking about long-term investment. If I give you this much money, can I get year 1, year 2, at least full season production, not a half here, half there, and then when your contract come up, you're playing at your standability. But after that, I don't need you anymore. I got a new rookie that is put on a contract, and bam, we're done.
Yeah, fair points. Fair points right there. All right, so the next topic has been ringing in DC for the past couple of days, and I truly hate this. Ron Rivera was asked a question about Eric Bieniemy's ability to coach and how intense he has been with players. So, he got asked that question, and one of the things that was being brought about was the fact that players were actually complaining about the intensity and things.
No, they wasn't. I know they wasn't.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is this, DT, I love y'all, but y'all players over there sounding soft with a capital E. Soft.
DT, I would like. I haven't done my research on. I saw a couple of little blurbs that came on the national media, so I don't know exactly what the complaints were. Is it that he's talking to them too harshly? Is he hurting feelings? Is he getting too personal? What's the deal? Are they feeling like they grown men and he talking to them like a child? What's going on?
Nah, it's. I don't believe it's none of those things in that nature. What I think it is just getting used to how intense practice is with him. It's a little bit different from what Ron. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your new host, DT. I am the host of the Ins and Out D podcast, a friend-friendly NFL podcast where we talk about all the teams, including my own Washington Commanders, and even touch on college football. I just gotta tell you guys, this is a great podcast for you to listen to, and you guys can also follow me at D Cleveland Jr. on Twitter.
But I just asked that question because I did see when EB first took that job, and Terry McLaurin, who was one of the leaders, I think he's one of the leaders of that team, went up to him and expressed that he was so happy to have him there. He said that, he heard that he coached very, very hard, but he looked forward to that coaching to kind of take him to the next level. So my only question is, whoever is complaining, are they a team leader? Did they work these complaints kind of up the chain of command? Did they go to some of the team leaders or what? Or did they just start whispering to coaches and for media purposes? That's the only question I have. And, when you have a guy like EB who comes from a championship program, you would think that everybody who ain't been part of a championship program will be trying to buy in as much as possible, unless you felt totally abused or disrespected. So I got to hear some more context. These are new brand, they millionaires and everything, but they still kids. And some of these kids is they brought up different these days. They brought up different.
No, trust me. And my co-host on with this Chrissy, she's a Chiefs fan. So she even said, yes, he's going to be tough. He's going to make you, if he doesn't like what he sees, yes, he's going to make you do it again. My thing about it is, I'm surprised that they're complaining, because I'm like, I remember when I was running track, if we didn't get out our blocks right, guess what you're going to do? You're going to keep doing it over and over and over again until you get it right. So even with this situation, it's like, why are you complaining? If you like, my thing about it is, look, the NFC East is a tough division. Let's be honest. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the Eagles, who already won one Super Bowl, just came out of a Super Bowl. Cowboys are looking to go with everything. Cowboys are looking to go. And then when everything else is said and done, with how the Giants are going to play, you still got them. The Commanders got to understand you have to compete. So you can't be, in this mindset of that, okay, we're going to do what we're going to do, but then it's not showing on the field, and then you're wondering why you're not winning. He's there for a reason. He's there to help push you guys, so you guys are there to help win for a reason. I think, in my honest opinion, I feel like it's like that rock star mentality. Like, you shouldn't be talking to me like that. I'm this player. I'm that. I'm this. I'm that. No, that's how come Vic got in trouble. That's why when Vic went over there to Andy Reid with the Eagles, we saw the Vic that we should have had in Atlanta. It's all. So that's the whole situation. I just feel like at this point, either A, you got, like DT, y'all got some lazy players over there, or they just in that rock star mentality. They just don't want to do nothing.
I'm gonna need the leadership council. I'm gonna need the leadership council to get involved.
So look, I don't know the context really of it. What I see, it don't feel like it's players complaining about how intense it is, because a lot of these players are from Alabama, from Ohio State. They have championship pedigree. What I think it is, they're not used to how intense practice is because of how Ron used to have practice. And I think the biggest problem was players were complaining to Ron, but not going up front to EB talking about it. I think that was the main problem.
About the chain of command. That answer your question.
Yeah. So yeah, I need the leadership council over there, man, to step up, man. Because it can't be vexed. The young boys don't know no better. They don't know how hard practice is supposed to be. So they just like, hey, whatever you say, coach. So it's got to be a few veterans who like, hold on, I was trying to chill. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to turn up like that for a couple of weeks. Hold on, coach. So yeah, man.
I have a little sense. I think I know who it is, but I don't want to disclose who until I see it, because when I look at people who keep throwing names and stuff out there, I'm like, okay, this don't make any sense, because this person coach was Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer, we all know he was a jerk. Or it was Nick Saban. Nick Saban is like, you know what I'm saying? Like
these guys on the stairs at Stanford Stadium. So yeah. So I know it ain't none of my dogs.
So, I don't know, but honestly, man, like EB, he responded back with it with the right manner and stuff, like he always do. He's very real. Like this he finds if we can't win, and that's the main purpose. Like he's bringing a winning attitude, something, and that's what I'm truly valuing him, not only as a play caller, as somebody who wants to bring the players. Like we.
Do you sit back and say, man, these walls just need something? Feel like it's time to freshen up your place with something new? If your answer is yes, then it's time to call Rob of Lewis Paints Plus, the accent wall expert. Rob will even give you a free estimate on how he can transform those boring walls in your home. To book today, call 240-418-5241 or reach out on Instagram at Lewis Paints Plus. And for 10% off, tell him Red Zone sent you.
Well, I'm gonna let you know, DT, man. We doing what we can in Detroit for y'all, man. We over here softening up these Giants boys for y'all. I know we're gonna talk about our teams in a minute, but we over here, man, giving them gut punches and punches to the face. We giving them the Riverside Brawl style, baby, in Detroit, baby. We softening up for y'all boys.
Man, go ahead on, man. I already knew they were struggling to practice over there, man. But but look. Now the next topic of conversation is so today we had a little time before we got on the show. We had our 3 own players that we feel like are under the most pressure heading into the season. And guys, I go in the group chat, I throw my players, everybody picking on me.
I didn't say anything, DT.
I know you. Well, okay. The other 2 had said something. So
I just wanted to know the logic.
So I said Mac Jones is a person that's under the most pressure, not only in the NFL, but maybe in the whole AFC as a whole as a starting quarterback. So with my logic is, Mac Jones, he had a solid rookie year. And then the next year, of course, we understand they had a whole new offensive coordinator, offensive system. And he had a vastly regress even with that. So then you have Bailey Zapp, who also playing within that same system. He kind of outplayed Mac Jones. Even when Mac Jones came back, he really didn't look the same. So, and we're looking at the Patriots. We're already labeling the Patriots as the worst team talent-wise in the AFC East. And I think there's a lot of pressure for him to at least try to get a 5th-year option picked up on him. Like, I think this guy, he has some talent, and he also has some limitations. And for me, I think he's going to be the one person I need to watch this year. How does all the things in New England be handled with Bill Belichick and Mac Jones?
I agree. Well, I mean, right now he just got sacked, but I agree. I think right now, just like I said earlier, it's about time for that curtain call. This is not a Bill Belichick team. This is not who Belichick puts out when it comes down to the Patriots. This is not who we know the Patriots to beat. He had Cam Newton. We all know Bill Belichick is supposed to be that quarterback whisperer. He just couldn't whisper to Cam. And put Mike Jones out there. He had a little bit of success until, Zappy came in and showed what he can do. And it just kind of put that target on Mac Jones' back, because after that, it just was a whole different side of Mac Jones than what we saw when he first got out there with Cam. But yeah, I really do. He did. He got sacked. He really did.
It's funny because every time you say Mac Jones, I hear Mike Jones. I just want to say who? Mike who? I think that's a very interesting take, DT. I will say this. I think, when we look at it, we look at kind of team expectations, and I don't really know how high the team expectations are for New England. I know they hold themselves in kind of high regard, and they want to, consider themselves as a perennial playoff contender. But it does. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. When you look at their roster on paper, it looks a little thin compared to Miami, compared to the Jets, compared to Buffalo in their own division. And we haven't even started talking about some of the other teams and some of the other divisions in the AFC. So I think it's really tight. And when you talk about that fifth-year option, I think everybody wants to get paid and get that money. But I'm not going to lie to you. I think a part of me tells me that Mac Jones might not mind getting out of New England, because they haven't really treated him with the utmost respect there. He was drafted in the first round. He had the good year, kind of was banged up a little bit, kind of shaky. Then they brought in, Bailey Zappi. He played well. That was Zappi, just got sacked too. They brought him in, and then we're hearing all type of rumors that, he may not be the guy. They had him coached up by a defensive coordinator, a defunct defensive coordinator, defunct head coach of the Lions. So to me, that lets me know that they're really not serious. They weren't really taking him seriously and his development seriously, in my opinion. When you put Matt Patricia and whoever else as the offensive coordinator. So to me, this is a good year for him. It's a prove it year for him. But listen, if these guys don't want me back, I think he's shown just enough to say, hey, maybe I can go to somewhere else and be still a starter in this league.
Yeah, he probably can. I mean, again, like I said, this is not who we know Bill Belichick to be. So, I mean, I think they had rumors where he was supposed to, there was rumors that he was supposed to, come up in the draft and try to draft Will Levis to see what that can work, but he didn't move, as we've seen. So, again, I think they're going to try to see if they can roll with Mac Jones. If this is not the case, they might be players in next year for a quarterback again. We'll see, though. There is some good quarterbacks that are coming out, but I just don't know, what the plan is going forward. But I like I said, I just wanted to know the context behind Mac Jones. That's all. Because it was random. That's it.
Mac Jones.
But no, so for me, it was actually Lamar. Hey, LJ. Mine is Lamar because, one, he was hollering for wide receivers. You got him. You got your offensive coordinator. I hate that he left, but you got an offensive coordinator who is going to help you game plan, use the personnel that is going to help you. One, I say protect him, so he's not running so much, that he can protect himself and play a whole full season. But then, two, now you got an offensive coordinator who's like, hey, I need you to be a quarterback. So now we really probably get to see what Lamar Jackson is really capable of, because now we get to see him actually be a quarterback. No more wristband. I need you to read the defense. So he has a lot of challenges. You got paid. He's hollering about your money. You got paid. You got your wide receivers you want. We need you to stay healthy, bro. We need a full season.
That's facts.
A full season, and we need some playoff wins. That's what we need. Not one. We need you to get deep. Again, all of this hollering and screaming about
what do you need to do? What do you need to do?
He need to get deep in them playoffs. He does. He does.
Okay.
I mean, he's, again, you're hollering about money. You're doing all like
Lady
you
tell him.
I'm telling him like it is. You got that one MVP, bro. I need you, because, again, you can be up there with Pat Mahomes. He has a skill set to be up there with Pat Mahomes. It could be Pat Mahomes, him, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, whoever everybody want to put. But he has the ability to be there. I need you to do two things. Stay healthy and sit over here and win me some playoff games. We talk about how Herbert ain't won nothing. Baby, you in that category too. Because you got your 260, don't mean our eyes ain't on you. You got the recipe. We need you to be in the kitchen cooking, baby. Cooking.
Okay.
So yeah, that's mine.
I agree with you. I like Lamar a lot. I'm rooting for Lamar. He's a guy who definitely is talented. I think he definitely has a lot of arm talent that we haven't seen. So I'm hoping that Todd Monken can definitely bring it out of him. I do like the upgrade in receivers, but I got to, let's be real though. One of them got 2 bad knees. One of them got a bad foot. The other one is a rookie. So let's not act like he's been served. He's been served Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Stephon Diggs. Let's not act like that. He got a has been, a never was, and a hopefully right now at the wide receiver. So let's just, let's keep it in context. And that's better than what he's been dealing with. And we can go talk about that. But again, a has been, a never was to this point, and a hopefully. So good luck, Lamar. Good luck, Lamar. My guy. I'm sorry, go ahead, DT.
I do agree. I do think with the whole contract conversation that has took half of this offseason, there's going to be pressure on Lamar because everybody's going to be looking at him anyway, but it's going to be hyper pressure because they know the talent with Lamar. They've seen Lamar from 36 touchdowns to just regular guys. And now with an improved wide receiver room, second-year tight end Isaiah likely to go with Mark Andrews, and a good running game. The sky's the limit for the offense, but can he stay healthy and can he get the monkey off his back? Yes, I said the monkey off his back, and that has been the playoffs wherever we like it or not. I understand there's some context within the playoffs, but they're going to see like 1 win and 3 losses when it comes to NFL quarterbacks. So he has to win at least 2 playoff games this year, including have to beat Patrick Mahomes to be considered one of the top.
Ooh.
Gotta beat Pat.
You gotta beat Pat?
Woo, that's a lot.
If we're being honest, man, like I think the Ravens, like we always talk about the Ravens being a defensive team, but lately they haven't been, as defensive as they used to be since the Ray Lewis, the Ed Reed days. Of course, they were a top-ranked defense heading into the playoffs last year, but I still have some questions with the pass rush and the depth at the cornerback position outside of Marlon Humphrey. Who's that in the wide corner too? So it looks like Lamar is going to have to be, Mahomes. He's going to have to be a little bit Mahomes for this team a little bit.
Hey, y'all, what's up? It's your girl, Lady E. Make sure y'all catch us on Falcons Tuesday. That's every Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And for my people that live in the Central Time, 5:30. Okay, this is where we go down and we talk about the Falcons game. We talk about Falcons information, breaking news, everything. And if you even just want to vent about them Atlanta Falcons, come on, because baby, Dirty Bird Nation be ready for you and be ready to hear it. So like I said, catch us out on the spaces on Twitter. You can find me at Lady E_. Tell them. Love y'all. Mwah.
I'm glad we talked about Lamar. I'm glad we brought up Pat Mahomes' name because the guy that I think has the most pressure on him is often mentioned in the same breath as Pat Mahomes. Sometimes they put him ahead of Lamar. Sometimes they put him ahead of Joe Burrow. But again, he's someone who hasn't won anything, hasn't consistently competed in the AFC, hasn't consistently beat the Cincinnati Bengals when it counts, hasn't been to a Super Bowl. But yet and still, we still hear his name as he's like the best or second best quarterback in the league. And that guy is Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. Again, someone who is, regardless of where we see him at. We talk about top quarterbacks. His name comes. We say Pat, and then we say Josh Allen. We don't say Jalen Hurts, who just came from a Super Bowl. We don't say Lamar, or we put him above Lamar, who did win an MVP playing with nobody. So with that being said, I think to whom much is given, much is expected, and I expect a lot from Josh Allen. They've given him built this top-notch defense around him. They went out and got Stephon Diggs. They went out and got Gabe Davis. They drafted the tight end Dalton Kincaid to give him another weapon. They keep bringing in running backs. They got James Cook. They drafted him. They brought in Damian Harris. They brought in I can't even think of the big guy to play at the goal line as well. So they have a lot of pieces around him. And it's time for him to put it together, man. For somebody who's never been to a Super Bowl, man, we got to stop talking about him so highly. He should be in the same conversation with the Herberts, with the Lamars, and all the rest of those guys who ain't won nothing.
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. When we think about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, they all three got something in common. Okay, besides Josh Allen, but they all three got something in common. They haven't really shown or proved that they can be what everybody puts them out to be. Justin Herbert, we already know about him. He ain't done nothing. Okay, Lamar, he got one, but what else? Nothing. Josh Allen, he does too. He made actually them change a rule with overtime. But again, he has not shown that he can do it. Just like you said to DC's point, if Lamar Jackson want to be up there at the top, he got to be Pat Mahomes. Josh Allen got to do the same thing. The only person that can't say that they haven't beat Pat Mahomes is Joey Burrow. But that's only in regular season. And I think what was it, one playoff game that they beat them? Yeah, that was it. So again, when it comes down to it, I agree. We got to hold these quarterbacks in the same category. We got to look at them in the same category. We can't just pinpoint things out and say this. Like Jalen Hurts, he came out and he proved everybody wrong. Like, hey, I can do this. But to me, I feel like Jalen Hurts, because we still don't know about Allen, Herbert, or Lamar, I still put Jalen Hurts right behind Patrick Mahomes. It's a milestone, but I still put Jalen Hurts there because he has shown and proved. I just need the consistency. I'm not getting that from Herbert, Allen, or Lamar. I'm not getting that.
DT, what you DT? What a face, DT.
Woo! Hey, no comment. I ain't gonna comment on that. I just want to say for Josh Allen, I definitely agree because for some particular reason, like 2 years ago, after the whole 13-second game, everybody has put this guy up at the top with Patrick Mahomes. But to me, there's still something always missing with him. It still looked like he was kind of the same reckless guy at times. He just had a number one wide receiver. Especially turnovers went up, and people all last year were saying, well, Brian Daboll's gone now. It looked like Daboll was his recipe, his medicine. So, and then there's questions about this Bills team. I don't know if it's national media, but on social media, there's questions about this Bills team everybody's saying they're going to regress. Are they really going to regress? It's going to be interesting to see how they're going to look because they got physically manhandled in the playoffs against that Bengals game, and they almost lost to a third-string quarterback in the Miami Dolphins. So it's going to be interesting, man. These players that we were talking about, man, they got some pressure, and I can't wait to see do they, shop the Divers up. And we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. We're going to be talking about preseason training camp updates for all three teams who will be playing this weekend. Buckle up. We'll come back to Enter the Lab.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, C. Henry, the host and producer of the Fellas Present Sports Rap podcast. I discuss the latest happenings around the NFL, college football, the NBA, and also the latest from the Detroit sports scene. I try to keep it informative and funny, and we always keep it light with some of my hip-hop favorites mixed in as interludes. Follow me at CHEN313 on Twitter. That's at CHEN313. And also subscribe to the show on Anchor, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And again, that's DA, Fellas Presents Sports Rap Podcast.
All right, so we are back to Enter the Lab podcast, and this is the part of the show where, we've been off, we had our little break, but now we're going to hear updates from all three teams of our respective teams, the Lions, the Falcons, and the Commanders, as they get ready to get prepped up for these preseason games tomorrow. Games come on at 7 o'clock. Some games be on NFL Network, be local listing. Check your local listings for that. So I'm going to start off so far in Washington camp. When it comes to what I've seen so far, I think this team is extremely motivated. Life has been kind of rejuvenated in the nation's capital and the DMV area. Defense has been flying around as expected. And, of course, it's going to have some up and down days for the offense. But the past 3 days, this offense has been cooking. And that's what you want, especially after the comments that was made this week. You see players balling out. You see the run fits going, and I'm pretty excited for this game tomorrow night against the Browns to see how the offense really looks, even though it's going to be vanilla. But you just want to see what are some things, what are the concepts that we're going to be running this year. We know EB, he comes from the West Coast offense tree under Andy Reid. I'm excited to see that, and I'm excited to see a couple of the young players. See Emmanuel Forrest, Chase Young play a little bit. He's talking about he's looking night and day healthy from last year. So I'm gonna say this right now. I think we're gonna get 2020 Chase. I truly believe that this looks like the Chase Young we have seen in his rookie year. I'm gonna be so excited for this defense to finally at least live up to his expectations and the stuff we had for it for years.
Well, real quick, I got a couple questions for you because I definitely want to hear how Chase is looking, but also what's going on at that running back spot. I think that's a very interesting situation with B-Rob and Antonio Gibson. I need a little bit of fantasy insight to find out who's going to be the lead dog and if my man Antonio Gibson is going to have a role similar to Jerick McKinnon in that KC offense last year. So tell me a little bit about that running back spot and how Chase is really looking out there. Is he looking good? Is he going to be a guy who can give you double-digit sacks this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with Chase. Chase looks night and day different, man. Without the brace, and you could tell he's looking healthy. He's looking like his old self. He's flying around the ball. He's causing havoc, disrupting plays. He even talked about how he had to get over the mental side of that injury because a lot of people say, well, it's just a regular ACL tear. Well, it was actually ACL reconstruction where they had to reconstruct the whole knee entirely, taking pieces from his leg and even pieces from Logan Thomas' legs to get his knee and stuff right. So, numbers wise, the only thing about numbers when I do it for defensive line is because if there was only one guy on the defensive line, I would definitely tell you 12 sacks. But because we have 4 guys on the defensive line, and Deron Payne just had career high last year with 11, to me, I see, and a lot of people might, get thrown off on this, but if Chase get 9.5 sacks and 14 tackles for loss and a couple of forced fumbles, I'll take that because at the end of the day, that means he's causing enough to be what he's supposed to be, and somebody else on the defensive line getting numbers as well. Montez Sweat on the other side of him, he's also in a contract year and motivated. Both of these guys went back to Coach Larry Johnson to refine some things in their game. And then you got the 2 boys in the middle, Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen. And I haven't even talked about the second string defensive line with Clemson rookie Caden Henry. He's been flying all over the defensive line as well.
Henry gonna be a dog.
Yeah,
Henry.
That's my surprise guy, KJ Henry. Very talented player. But also to your fantasy question, the running backs. The running back is going to be interesting because this has been a debate in our spaces. A lot of people don't think our running backs fit in what EB do in terms of like how big they are, like 6'2", 6'1", power running scheme. But I think it's very adaptable. I will tell you this. Brian Robinson, I think he's going to be a sleeper this year because everybody sees him as a 1-2 style running back, but all over camp, his hands has been very impressive. So I'm not going to be shocked. He's going to be a guy get 30 to 35 catches and a couple of touchdowns in fantasy. But I do think Gibson will still have the Jerick McKinnon role and also try to move him around the offense more than what Scott Turner tried to do last year. Scott Turner's problem was he had talent in spots, but he did not know how to correctly utilize them. With Eric Bieniemy, where he's coming from, he knows how to utilize these players because he had a Nicole Hardman, he had a Tyreek Hill, he had those guys. He able to move the ball around and stuff like that. So, if I was you, I know a lot of people are going to say Gibson, but I don't think nobody's picking up Brian Robinson in fantasy. I would stat Brian Robinson on your fantasy.
They grabbing him. But yeah, they grabbing him. But it's just about win. It's about win, the value on them. But yeah, thank you though. Thank you, DT.
Yeah.
Can't say that about my B-Rob.
Okay, speaking of that, let's hear from Atlanta's camp. What's going on in Hot Atlanta?
Baby, everything that you need to know, it is going good. Do you hear me? Okay. Bijan is who we thought he was. Chef Kiss. Okay. He's cutting up. He's doing it. Arthur Smith got him lined up all over the offense. So literally, I can't wait. I can't wait to see these personnel packages throwing out. Kyle Pitts looks very healthy. Very healthy. Shout out to Mike Hollins. Heard some little not so good things about him, but he's been having a dang good camp. Shout out to him. Drake London looks good. You know, there's still question marks around Desmond Ritter. When I saw him, he was throwing darts. I feel like he's progressing. He's doing what he needs to do. Again, I expect him to be uncomfortable because now he's running with the ones and now he's fully, getting that attention. I expect him to be uncomfortable.
I didn't even mention that.
Look. No, we're not playing Tyler Heineke, so no. But no, the main thing that I will say, that I am so proud of is the off-season acquisitions of our defensive line. I heard they were tearing up that Dolphins offensive line when we were doing our joint practices, hunty. So yes, I'm doing that. Even though we are missing Jeff Okudah right now because he did get injured, but I don't expect nothing less. And shout out to I'm about to mess up his name again because I'm about to call him Phillip Clark, but it's Clark Phillip. Shout out to him. We picked him up 3rd round, and he's acting like a 1st-round draft pick right now, doing everything that we need him to do. So it's a camp battle right now between him and D'Alford. You can even say Trey Fowler because, again, I'm not going to say that Jeff Okudah is not going to come around. It's just some still question marks with some of the plays. He made good plays, and then it's just some plays it's kind of like, what was you doing? So we still looking for that. But, yeah. I'm so happy with my team. I'm so happy, and we're still not signing. Tyler Heineke's still not starting. But I'm excited to see what this Falcons team is going to look like this season, especially after we had 2 seasons where we didn't have really what Arthur Smith really wants, and now we do. So again, I can't wait. This is. I'm excited. Excited.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you're looking like the class of the NFC South, right?
Looking like the class. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be coming down between us and the Saints. I'm not counting the Panthers. I'm not counting the Bucks. It's going to come down between the Falcons and the Saints. That last game of the season is going to decide the NFC South. For real.
Flex game? 8
o'clock. Baby, flex. That's going to be that flexy. Flex it.
See, Henry.
Yes, sir, man. Like I alluded to earlier, everything is looking pretty good in Detroit. Very, very promising. First and foremost, no major injuries right now, so we definitely are happy about that. We had the joint practices this week with the Giants, who we're going to host tomorrow night in the preseason game, and we got a lot of very, very, very good work in against them. Basically, we did our thing against them. Both days are looking like good days for us. The offense is humming. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks like he's ready to take another step this year and be definitely our number 1 receiver. But then after that, it's kind of been a crapshoot on who's going to step up. We're seeing guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, who very much like Bijan is being used in a multitude of ways out of the backfield in the slot, also out wide. He's making catches. Sam Laporta, the 2nd-round pick, who I had a little bit of an issue with, is making catches. And basically it's been, talked about that one of those 2 guys are going to be our secondary receiver in this offense. We're still kind of waiting for J-Mo to kind of come around. He's still having an up and down camp. Going to be very, very eager to see what he does in the preseason. Again, he didn't play last year in terms of the preseason. So this is really his first camp situation. I think he needs reps. He is going to miss the first 6 games. So we need to get him acclimated and then, brought up to speed and then hopefully keep him up to speed and hope those 6 weeks don't kind of, get him a little bit rusty. Defensively, we're hearing great things about this secondary. Brian Branch, shout out to Telly. Brian Branch, baby, second round pick. Hey, he has worked his way into the starting lineup, pushing C.J. Gardner-Johnson to a full-time safety position right now. And right now, Tracy Walker has been pushed to the bench. He's a guy that we have to keep our eyes on. He was a routine starter. He's coming back from returning from a ruptured Achilles injury. And he just got a contract a couple of years ago. And depending on what that cap number is, and depending on where he's playing and how much he's going to play, there's a possibility he can be a cap casualty, or he may have to come to some restructuring because Brad don't play. Hearing great things about our draft picks. Again, I talked about Jahmyr Gibbs. I talked about Jack Campbell, who's still kind of locked into a linebacker battle with Malcolm Rodrigo and Derek Barnes, making plays out there. But all those guys are fighting to get on the field alongside Alex Anzalone. So we feel good about it. The secondary is looking much improved. So I'm just ready again, just hopefully that we can, continue to get good reps, good days of practice, string them together, and hopefully no one gets hurt, and get ready for, week 1, Kansas City, week 2, Seattle, and week 3, ATL, baby. Yes, sir.
But I let this slip my mind. For real interest, Sam Howell, he has looked pretty solid during training camp. Of course, he's a young player. He's gonna have some ups and downs, but the past 5 practices, he's been balling out. He's been looking very sharp and efficient. And Terry even said, he has to get adjusted to his deep balls because he's so used to undercatching things and stuff like that. So
we're gonna put a slight pause on that. I didn't sound right, but that's okay. I understand what you were saying, DT.
Man, come on, man.
I understand what you were saying. You know what I'm saying? I understand what you were saying. I hope Terry do get adjusted. Okay, I don't want him to hurt himself.
I'm thinking grown up, like he does that to me. And we record.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was on your Twitter, on your Twitter mind.
Man.
I see you on Twitter. I didn't know what time we was on today.
God.
I don't know what time. E, I be seeing you too, E. I be seeing you.
I'm innocent.
I be like, yeah, I can't like this one, so let me keep scrolling. I see you, though. I can't. God. Young DT and young Caleb, baby. Y'all keep me young, baby. Y'all keep me young, baby.
Man, look. Boy, man. But I can't wait, man.
As long as y'all alive, y'all gotta follow from me. That's word up.
Oh man, I can't wait for tomorrow, man. Football is back. Football is back, man.
I just want to say this before we close everything off. One, and this is just notes, and this is just for anybody on there. CJ Stroud is really running for his life right now. The Texans have to really do something for their offensive line, because this is not good. And I feel like the game is kind of a little bit fast for him. The decision making is not there. So on that note, football is back, y'all. We are back. I just want to let this be known, okay? We are about to start this NFL season, and we're finna do it. So nobody talk about my Falcons, baby, because we coming. We getting there. We coming. But I also want to throw this out. Georgia is 3-peating. Repeat after me. 3-peat, okay? We are 3-peating. All right? Who's going to beat them dogs? Who's going to beat them dogs? But yes, I'm so happy to be back. Football season back. Make sure y'all check me out with It's a Sports Tia All Ladies podcast, talking nothing but NFL. So make sure y'all follow that, okay? Because we're gonna be diving deep into the season, and we're gonna make sure we keep everything interesting. So, this your girl Either. Mwah.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Enter the Lab with your boy DT, Atlanta's #1 lady, Lady E, and yours truly, C. Henry.
Thank you for listening to Enters the Lab podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Red Zone in the Lab and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can download your podcast wherever you get your podcasts and visit us at redzoneinthelab.com.